Hello and welcome to SEGA News Bits. I'm Barry. With me is my fellow maniac George.
Oh, I was gonna do a Hulk Hogan impression, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not.
No, please don't. Yeah, so let's dive right into it. So Sonic Mania news just launched today as we record this. Specifically, they're covering the special stages, the bonus stages, and the time attack mode. And from what we've heard, this is the last announcement we're going to be receiving until the game releases. So, you know, before we get real into it, I just wanted to reminisce. It's been about a year and I think maybe 2 weeks since we saw this reveal in person. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and we played it, and now we're gonna be owning it. So it's been a wild ride. But so let's go out on a bang. Let's talk about the special stages first off. So the new information, there's a trailer, there's also a B-roll video, and there's some screenshots that you can see. And they show off the stage. Now, the first thing that everyone's noticing is that there's a polygon Sonic.
Yeah.
We've known of this for a bit. What do you think about this?
I said in the last video, I wanted to see it in action. I like the way it looks in action. It looks really nice. I like the quad polygon, like the whole quad polygon look of the Sega Saturn. I'm a big fan of it. A lot of people think it looks ugly, especially back in the olden days. You could look up articles and Google it if you guys want to, where they compared the PlayStation polygons to the Sega Saturn, and that's why it has that unique aesthetic, and they capture this perfectly, and I actually like it. I'm one of the minor guys that like the quad polygon look of the Sega Saturn.
Oh, I really love it. I mean, you know, it reminds me of the 32X when it was trying to do its best at 3D. It reminds me a little bit of Sega CD, and of course the Sega Saturn. Now I can completely understand where people are coming from, where they see this and think it looks ugly, and I'm saying that because when you look at the 2D stuff, you know, the main game of Sonic Mania, you know, sure, it's pixelated, and some people are going, oh, it's 16-bit. It really isn't 16-bit. It's, you know, it's polygon graphics basically at their peak. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Sure, the animation is not like hand-drawn, you know, it doesn't look like some of the other games out there, like Skullgirls. That's a real pretty one. But I think in terms of pixelated graphics, Sonic Mania is like peak performance. Now, when you look at the special stage with the 3D graphics, I feel like it's intentionally lo-fi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's trying to be the Sega Saturn game if it ever came out.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can see how that could turn some people off. There is some pop-up, but I feel like all of this is intentional, and, you know, it's not a huge deal. So let's look at the rules of the special stage itself. So you go into these giant rings in the stages, and you start running around. And so the rules as we see it is that when you collect the spheres, your Mach meter goes up. So you go Mach 2, Mach 3, I don't really know how high it goes. And then when you collect the rings, it adds time to the timer. And your intent is to run around the stage, not fall off, and to catch the UFO, which is holding a Chaos Emerald, or as IGN reported, a diamond, because they don't know anything about Sonic. So do you think it's a pretty simplistic special stage? I like those types of ones, though. Simple rules.
Yeah, it's simple. I'm hoping that people grow fond of it when it comes out, but it looks simple. It looks actually fun and engaging. Mm-hmm. The little drift mechanic it has looks like it could really help.
Yeah, I would say it really looks like a mix of the Knuckles Chaotix special stages, in that you can fall out of it, and that I believe when you collect rings in that, the timer goes up. And then, of course, there are blue spheres. So it actually does have a lot in common with Knuckles Chaotix. Sonic CD, in that there's UFOs flying around and you're running around on this surface. Sonic R, in the way that they're, you know, polygon characters and the way they control. And then the other one was Sonic Heroes special stage. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't. I mean, can you explain it? Oh, the one. Which one are we talking about?
It's like a half pipe, but you collect the spheres, and the spheres make you go faster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which this is exactly doing. So that's cool. So I like it. Moving on, we have a bonus stage. So this is what occurs over the goalposts. Now, some people have been knocking them for this, saying it's lazy. It's the Sonic 3 and Knuckles special stage, but now a bonus stage. What do you think about this?
I know people in real life that for some reason are obsessed with these, like the little blue spheres stage.
Blue spheres, yes.
They're like obsessed with it, and they only play that. It's kind of weird. Personally, I kind of gave me a headache after a while when you're going through it. But there's people out there that really are nostalgic about the blue sphere stages, so I'm kind of glad they added that. We have 2 different types of special stages technically, and so I guess there's something for everybody, I hope, except if you like the half-pipe Sonic 2 levels.
True. I mean, I'll play devil's advocate and say, like, I can totally see why it looks lazy. I mean, everything else in this game is new. Even the returning stages are remixed. This one, it looks very samey. I mean, they made better sprites for the characters, and it moves smoother, and the music's newer, but nothing's really different from it. I'm trying to remember, didn't Sonic 3 and Knuckles actually brought back the Sonic... What was the one that brought back the special stage where it rotated? Do you remember that? But it was a bonus stage.
I can't even remember off the top of my head right now.
But there was that, and there was the bumper, the little capsule toy machine game. Like, I love those. And I was kind of hoping we'd see something like that here, but I'm fine with this returning. It is kind of funny, though. It's like you look at this back-to-back with the special stage, and it's like Sonic, but one is the game trying to do 3D, but it's 2D, and the other one's the game doing 3D. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, if this were an actual game made in the era, there's no way that they would have brought back blue spheres, because they would have been like, we did better with the special stage. We don't need to go backwards. So it is kind of weird to see.
Yeah, exactly.
It is weird to see the game attempting to do 3D when it actually can do 3D. You know?
Yeah, I think it's just because they knew there was fans, and there's probably a lot of people complaining online that they wanted it, or maybe somebody in the team really loved the blue sphere stages.
Right, of course. So the rules with it are pretty much the same. However, you're not getting Chaos Emeralds. What it is that when you complete the stage, you get a silver medallion, and if you complete the stage and collect all the blue spheres and rings, you get a gold medallion. And I have no idea what these medallions do, but I'm assuming they're just for, you know, like, kind of like collecting the red rings in Sonic 4. You know, like, they don't really do much.
Yeah, they're just there to look nice.
They're just there to make you feel good about yourself. The third mode is Time Attack, and this will allow players to work on their speedrunning skills and their times post to an online leaderboard. And I think the coolest aspect of this is there's an instant restart button.
Yeah, that's what made that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's really great, because I know full well that sometimes I'd be, you know, I'm not a speedrunner, but I'd play an old stage and I'd be like, let's go see how fast I can go. And then you screw something up and you gotta pause. And then I don't even think you can't really restart. You got to hold down the buttons if you're on like the Saturn or something. It just blech. But not here. Not here. They made it very easy. Another thing I noticed, there's a little goalpost at the beginning and end, so there's very clear start and finish points. From memory, actually, I'm gonna check the video out here. Just when you pass the goalpost, yeah, you can rev up and then go, and it starts. So it doesn't start timing you until you've past that little starting post.
This is pretty fantastic. I feel like this is kind of a thing that a lot of new games have been doing. A lot of like this whole do the same thing over and over again until you perfect it and get the most points out of it, I guess, or time in this instance. Like Super Meat Boy, that was basically the whole game. It was a really small level. You jump around, you try to do it as fast as possible or as smooth as possible without getting killed. And Shinobi was even like that back in the olden days, but like you couldn't instantly restart. So this is fantastic for people that want to practice sections that they're having trouble with.
Yeah, and I can confirm that it does, yeah, the timer does not start until you pass that little point, which is great, because then it's not like rev up, rev up, rev up. You really get to think, take a look at, you know, the next 20 feet in front of you and think what you're going to do before you kick it off. So those are the 3 reveals, and like I said at the beginning, I think this is it until the game releases, unless there's a leak.
Yeah, I think there's not really much to say about Sonic Mania. It looks fantastic. I think everybody online knows it looks fantastic. I hope there's a marketing budget on TV, or at least a little bit of like online ads, or there's more to this online marketing scheme they have going on, especially revving up to August 15th when the game comes out, because it looks like this is going to be one of the best Sonic games in a very long time, and I hope and I wish that Sonic Forces comes out and it's the best 3D Sonic game of all time. And we have 2 of the best Sonic games of all time in 1 year. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
I love that attitude. Good. I agree too. And you know, there might be a launch trailer, so keep your eyes open. They did say that the opening cutscene would be revealed, I believe they said the 14th, which is the day before release. So maybe they'll release something that night, or maybe the 14th in their eyes is like, 11:59 p.m. or something like that. So what do you guys think about the new special stage and the returning special stage, now bonus stage, Blue Spheres? Do you think they did it good? Do you think they did it bad?
They done
They done good? What do you guys think?
And
Sound up.
if you're not a fan of the Sega Saturn or didn't grow up in the Sega Saturn era, what do you guys think about the Sega Saturn polygons coming to this game? I want to hear if you guys think it's ugly.
Yeah, especially you